Now, what I will also say is, Angel, your actions are starting to speak so loud, we can't hear what you're telling us. Because what you told us, if we go back to March 31st, was simple. You said you think people just take it like we hate each other. And Caitlin Clark and I don't hate each other. I want everybody to understand that. That's what you told us. The problem is your actions vehemently disagree.
Angel Reese's actions are beginning to speak louder than her words, making it difficult to reconcile what she says with how she behaves on the court. If we go back to March 31st, Reese herself clarified that the supposed animosity between her and Caitlin Clark was largely exaggerated. She stated that people assume she and Clark hate each other, but in reality that was far from the truth. She wanted everyone to understand that there was no personal vendetta, just two highly competitive athletes giving their all.
Team in the league, if not all but one or two teams. And the two flagrants aren't just on the same team.
Yeah.
They're on the same woman on the same team.
Yeah.
It's not coincidence unless you believe that it is.
However, recent events have cast doubt on this assertion, as Reese's actions appear to contradict her statements. The latest controversy surrounding Angel Reese erupted after the WNBA handed her a suspension following a heated on-court altercation with her longtime rival, Caitlin Clark. The incident, which immediately went viral due to their well-documented rivalry and the physical nature of the play, intensified as social media exploded with reactions. Reese's aggressive play style and unapologetic demeanor have always been a point of discussion, but this time, her actions have drawn more scrutiny than ever before. In a highly anticipated WNBA matchup between the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever, tensions escalated when Reese attempted to block Clark's shot but instead struck her in the head. Initially deemed a common foul, the officials later reviewed the play and upgraded it to a flagrant one. The Fever ultimately secured a 91-83 victory, but the spotlight remained on the post-game reactions rather than the outcome of the match. Following the game, Reese dismissed the foul as just another basketball play, stating that she had no control over how the referees officiated the game. She argued that her team had been playing aggressively throughout, but didn't receive many calls in their favor.
It's a basketball play. I can't control the refs. They affected the game obviously a lot tonight. So I think we went up really strong a lot of times and we didn't get a lot of calls. And going back and looking at the film, I've seen a lot of calls that weren't made. I guess some people got a special whistle.
Some people get a special whistle, she said, a direct jab at Clark, implying that the referees favored her opponent. Interestingly, Clark did not retaliate in kind. Instead, she acknowledged that physicality is part of the game. It is what it is, Clark stated, downplaying the controversy and choosing to focus on the competitive nature of professional basketball. Reese and Clark's history dates back to their college days, where their clashes made headlines and fueled a compelling rivalry. However, their recent WNBA matchups have added another layer of intensity, pushing their competitive fire into the professional arena.
The definition of a flagrant foul is literally hitting somebody above the...
That was not a special whistle. That was the correct whistle. When it's a basketball play, there's contact, it's a foul. When the contact comes to the head, it is a flagrant, it's upgraded. So that was not a special whistle, sis. That was a correct whistle. But
yet, it is not just their play styles that are drawing attention. Their interactions, both on and off the court, continue to stir debates among fans and analysts alike. Reese's recent behavior has been particularly noteworthy. After Kennedy Carter, another Sky player, blindsided Clark with a hard shoulder check in an earlier matchup, Reese enthusiastically celebrated the move, cheering on her teammate. This act alone led many to question whether Reese's stance on her so-called friendly rivalry with Clark was genuine. Then, just days later, Reese embraced the role of the bad guy, further fueling speculation about her true feelings toward Clark. When she stepped onto the court wearing Joker-themed shoes, seemingly a nod to the classic Batman villain, it only added more fuel to the narrative that she was embracing a villainous persona. When analyzing Reese's actions, context is crucial. The Chicago Sky has played 540 minutes of basketball this season, and Clark has only played 74 minutes against them. Yet, the Sky's only 2 flagrant fouls of the season have both been against Clark. That statistic alone raises eyebrows and invites the question: is there a targeted effort against Clark, or is this merely a coincidence? The aftermath of the most recent foul saw the WNBA take disciplinary action against Reese, suspending her for the incident and fining her $1,000 for skipping post-game media duties. The Chicago Sky was also fined $5,000 for not complying with league rules. While these financial penalties may be minor compared to Reese's overall earnings, which are supplemented by lucrative endorsement deals, they reinforce the seriousness of the league's stance on maintaining professionalism and sportsmanship. Many have come to Reese's defense, arguing that she is being unfairly targeted and subjected to disproportionate scrutiny. Others believe she has brought much of the criticism upon herself through her behavior on the court. While Reese is undeniably a fierce competitor, her actions have led some to question whether she is crossing the line from competitive play into unsportsmanlike conduct. In the broader context of women's basketball, Caitlin Clark has undeniably emerged as one of the most polarizing and influential figures in the sport. Her arrival in the WNBA has generated unprecedented levels of attention, boosting TV ratings, ticket sales, and overall interest in the league. Clark's impact is undeniable, and with that increased visibility comes heightened scrutiny, not only for her but for those who play against her as well. It is also worth noting that Clark's reception in the league has been mixed. Some veterans and analysts argue that her rise has been overhyped and that her skills, while impressive, do not warrant the level of attention she receives. Others believe that she is a generational talent whose presence in the league will ultimately elevate women's basketball as a whole. Regardless of where one stands on the issue, it is evident that Clark's influence extends beyond the court.
Here's where I'm going where the rivalry kicks in. Angel Reese, the reason why, obviously, the whole Caitlin Clark-Angel Reese thing happened was because when they met in the NCAA tournament in 2023, when Angel Reese was doing all of this, because Caitlin Clark had been doing that to her opponents when she got the best of them. So Angel Reese and LSU got the best of her, and that's what she did unapologetically, okay? And Angel Reese is going to talk that talk. And so because she's going to talk that talk, and because she's a conscientious observer, and she's going to speak her mind, and she's going to be unapologetic in doing so, that is where you see her in the shine, and the throwing in stuff about her with Caitlin Clark really comes in the focus. If it's purely about their games are on two different ends of the spectrum. That's not the rivalry. The rivalry is
shaping the narratives surrounding the WNBA. Reese's frustration is understandable in some respects. She has been a star in her own right, helping LSU secure a national championship and establishing herself as one of the most dynamic players in women's basketball. Yet, in comparison to Clark, she has not received the same level of media attention or public support. Some argue that this discrepancy is rooted in racial dynamics, with Clark, a white athlete, being positioned as the face of the WNBA while Reese and other black players are often cast in a more antagonistic light. This underlying tension has fueled much of the discourse surrounding their rivalry, making it about more than just basketball. As the debate continues, it is crucial to differentiate between genuine competition and actions that cross the line into unnecessary aggression. Physical play is a staple of basketball, but when it appears to be targeted, it raises ethical questions. Reese's supporters argue that she is simply playing hard, while her critics believe she is taking things too far. The truth may lie somewhere in between. Despite the controversy, both Reese and Clark have undeniably contributed to the rising popularity of women's basketball. Their rivalry has drawn significant attention to the sport, bringing in new fans and increasing engagement across various platforms. Whether one sees their dynamic as healthy competition or a brewing feud, there is no denying that it has become a major talking point in the sports world. Looking ahead, Reese has an opportunity to reshape the narrative surrounding her. She can continue to embrace the bad guy role, but doing so may further alienate fans and invite additional scrutiny. Alternatively, she could take a step back, focus on her game, and let her performance speak for itself. Clark, on the other hand, will likely continue to handle the pressure with composure, letting her play do the talking. At its core, basketball is about passion, skill, and competition. Rivalries have always been a part of sports history, fueling excitement and elevating the game. However, there is a fine line between competitive intensity and unsportsmanlike conduct. As Reese and Clark continue their journeys in the WNBA, their rivalry will undoubtedly remain a focal point. How they navigate it moving forward will determine whether it remains a compelling sports story or turns into something more contentious. For now, one thing is clear. Angel Reese's actions are making more noise than her words, and the basketball world is watching closely.